Hello, Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout. I put up a picture, it's probably the one I'll just go ahead and do in the thumbnail. Noticed I'm looking bigger today. The scale was up today. No, I'm not bulking. No, I didn't have carbs yesterday, but the scale was up like 8 pounds this morning compared to where it's been all week and where I've been for 2 weeks. Again, I had a fair amount of salt yesterday. I'm sodium loading, I am magnesium loading right now. In spite of the fact that I am not in a caloric surplus. I absolutely did not have surplus calories even one day this week. So this happens. And I thought, well, I might as well get some extra training volume and get as much volume as I can on my dynamic effort day, because if I'm holding extra water in my muscle tissue, it means recovery should be good, performance should be good. I need to utilize that to my advantage, right? And assessing everything, I did the floor press again today for dynamic work. I've done multiple videos explaining what's going on with the dynamic effort work. Basically, we're using sub-maximal weight, actually moderate weight, because you guys saw my floor press max on Tuesday. So you know where my max is. So this is obviously not particularly heavy, but we're doing moderate weight, anywhere from 1 to 3 reps, depending on what percentages you're using, and you're trying to use compensatory acceleration. So I'm trying to explode with this as hard and as fast as I can. Now, are there ways to use stretch reflex on dynamic work? There are ways to use overspeed eccentric with bands and stuff? Sure, that's not what I'm doing at the moment. Doesn't mean I won't eventually start using it. I've used it before. For those who've been around long enough, they remember. So it's not new to me. But for now, I think the floor press is good because it lets me get a lot of volume. And I get a little stretch reflex on the other lifts I did today, so I don't need it on this. This is about me building that starting strength and explosiveness near the bottom, while building my pecs, building my triceps. And yeah, I absolutely feel my pecs lit up big time. Like, I feel my pecs more on this than I do on a bench press. Now, that doesn't mean it's working it more. And I'll have a video coming out. I've already done. I'm so far ahead on informatives, though it might not be out for 2 weeks. One I filmed yesterday discussing that in detail. But this went good today. And one of the things that I noticed I had to start thinking about, I cut the laterals out today and I replaced them with dips as my assistance movement or accessory movement, right? I replaced them with dips today, and I'm going to have some reasons why I did that. Number one, I feel like I'm getting plenty of delt training, especially with me doing all those face pulls on my off days. I do a lot of face pulls. I do a lot of overhead pressing. The laterals are a good assistance movement for bringing up shoulders and everything, but I feel like I get a lot of shoulder work. And what I'm noticing more and more, I'm feeling like right now my chest is pretty well developed. My delts are pretty well developed. I mean, they could always stand to have more. But I do feel like my triceps are a limiting factor. I feel like they're becoming a limiting factor on a lot of my pressing. And I really noticed tricep fatigue when doing my pressing today. My overhead pressing, I noticed my lower triceps were throbbing after even the very first set. They're throbbing after the first set. And I feel like my triceps are a weak link on a lot of my pressing. And let's go back and talk about the whole concept with the orc mode training and everything. I'm trying to get bigger and thicker overall, right? We are trying to get thick. We are trying to get strong and powerful. My big lifts are how I get there. And if I have any muscle that is lacking, let's say my triceps are not strong enough or they aren't developed enough to maximize the weight and the workload that I'm pushing on all my big presses, right? The overhead press is what's going to build my shoulders to a large extent, my upper chest. Bench press is going to build my chest and a lot of overall thickness to the upper body. Well, if my triceps are not strong enough to maximize the weight there, then that's not good for my overall development, is it? Not good for my overall development. I'm losing upper body development as a result of that. So I'm going to put a little less focus now on delts and a little more focus on triceps. Not to say I'm not going to keep training delts, and not to say I'm not going to keep doing face pulls, and I'm going to be doing tons of overhead pressing. It's going to be done twice a week. I'm doing face pulls even on my off days. So that's a lot of shoulder work. And you go look at the EMG data, the band face pulls work the side delts just as much as a lateral does. And they work the rear delts and everything else. So the face pulls have a lot of that covered. So now I'm going to shift my focus to where my weak link is. So the question starts to become, why dips instead of a tricep extension? Because this is my higher volume day for my upper body. And if I'm going to do exercises, I might as well get more development out of it. Meaning, I need to go ahead and make sure that I'm picking an exercise that's going to not only thicken my triceps up, and doing really high rep dips will thicken your triceps up, but I might as well work other muscles in my upper body, make sure that they are getting fully stimulated. And I think what I'll do, because you tend to get really fatigued on the peripheral nervous system on the max effort day, I'll probably do extensions on the max effort day, right? And that way then I'm not stuck doing a higher rep big movement that's going to fatigue me for this day on my max effort day. A small muscle like the triceps, it's not going to affect you as much to do a little bit of volume work for it on a heavier day in terms of your periodization as much as it would a big exercise. So I think I will probably replace the laterals with dips for now on my dynamic effort day, which is my slightly higher volume day, is where I'm going to get more metabolic fatigue. Or you think of it as your hypertrophy day. And then I will do the extensions on my max effort day because I'm going to be too fatigued to do another big exercise. So there'll be room for that there. And then it will affect recovery less and it won't interfere so much with my dynamic effort day. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll work in the extensions and smaller movements on that day. So the pressing went good though. I went ahead and did 8 sets. I think, what did I do? 7 sets last time with this weight. I went ahead and got an 8th set today. So that is a volume increase by 1 set, because that's ideal. Like if I'm going to do triples, I would like to get about 8 sets. If we're going to do doubles, we want to get about 10. And we ended up doing doubles on the rows today. But yeah, so I got 1 more set with this today. Also, if you guys notice, I micro loaded up. The floor press dynamic work, I threw a micro plate on. So it went up 2.5 pounds. Which is not very much, but in the, we start thinking of the different weight loading and progressive overload, it does matter. But I'm definitely growing. And again, I want people to understand I'm not bulking, not on gear, not on my TRT. I'm actually deep keto. So I'm eating no more than 20 grams of carbs a day, and I don't do refeeds. Just for those curious of what's going on with that. In other words, I've been straight keto for the last 6 weeks. And I'm still going strong. I'm regaining lost strength. I'm thriving on it. I need to discuss more of the emerging research on athletes on this stuff. This is one of the things that I really have been bothered by with a lot of the evidence-based community. A lot of the stuff they've been doing hasn't always been in tune with my life experiences. And I'm starting to find that there's a lot of research that's emerging on some stuff saying, hey, maybe some of their ideas haven't been as correct as maybe it's been implied. Again, the keto being one of them for athletes. Things like good mornings. Well, I quit doing good mornings because of Greg Nuckols, evidence-based guy. And I felt like it didn't do me any favors at all. Didn't do me any favors. So the pen leg rows, I did 10 sets of 2. Now, yes, it's a relatively lightweight. What is it, 235? I know that's a very lightweight, but it's where I'm working on explosiveness, and this is all just workload density. For those curious, these are 30 seconds apart. Again, something I've explained with some of the explosive work, the dynamic work, you don't need long breaks because we aren't doing limit sets. We aren't building up all those metabolites. So you don't get the same downsides that you get from shorter breaks when you're actually doing limit sets, like you're getting close to failure. Because with these, it is about speed. It is about speed. It's about explosiveness as far as your force generation goes. So we're trying to get maximal muscle fiber recruitment on every rep, which, again, means we don't necessarily need the longer breaks because we're just trying to generate force. We're not necessarily trying to do the most workload. And again, I'm not worried. My back development is not a problem for me right now. So again, these were like 30 seconds apart. So 10 by 2. And yeah, they were good. And I did notice that you guys did notice I'm starting to get a little crampy on some of these, which is why I kind of stood up near the end. I thought that's a great snapshot. I was just kind of squeezing my hands afterwards on the last set. Just because I'm like, holy shit, I felt my forearms and my grip and everything really starting to get fatigued as we get into this. Again, especially with the 30-second breaks and trying to lift it as explosively and as hard as possible on every single rep. But yeah, it ended up really leaving me pretty fatigued. And by the time I get to the dips, I'm just so exhausted. I mean, that even I think I did 13 reps on the first set of body weight dips, and by the final set I'm reaching failure. I don't even think I got to 10 reps on the last set of dips. I think, 'cause I haven't counted it, if I was just roughly counting in my head while I was doing them and I felt like I gave out on rep 8 and had to drop myself down, then jumped back up and squeezed out a ninth rep. So I think I did like 13 twice and then like 9. That's just all I had left. But we did create extra metabolic fatigue. And because I'm not going to bench again until Tuesday, I think that's okay. That's going to give me time to recover. Hopefully time to recomp, gain some muscle, recover from that over the weekend, hopefully thicken my triceps up, and, come back and hit a max bench. And hopefully we're going to PR. I'm going to try to go up by 5 pounds on Tuesday over my last bench PR. And that's going to be the goal. We want to try to PR on those max effort exercises if possible. And yes, it doesn't matter that I'm not bulking. It doesn't matter that I'm not doing carbs. It doesn't matter that I'm slowly going to keep trying to lose weight and body fat over the rest of the year. All right, that is the difference. This is not bodybuilder style cutting. I'm not doing this silly nonsense to where you lose muscle and all that crap. Oh, I'm just going to cut fast, do a 16-week cut and then lose 8 pounds of muscle. All right, we don't have time for that stupidity. It's going to be try to gain muscle. So what? If I lose fat a lot slower, but if I gain any muscle and strength, it's worth it, because it's about lifestyle change. It is about being the best version of yourself. And if that means that you don't get to stop trying to improve just because you're losing body fat, all right? You don't get to stop trying to improve. Because for me, that's what makes me end cuts. When I know I'm losing muscle and I know I'm getting weaker, that makes me not want to cut. So I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep trying to make progress, get extra sleep if I have to, slowly continue to keep leaning out and try to gain a little bit of muscle and strength along the way. But yeah, this set was pretty much everything I had. I was done. Yeah, there we go. It's like, I'm done. Oh, let me get one more rep. And I got one more rep. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.